What's up, guys? It's ProfessorBroman back here in Destiny to talk about a couple of things. Now, I was going to make this video earlier today, but then I went out to dinner, and I'm happy that I did because something important and related to what we're going to talk about happened. And I bet you're wondering what the fuck we're going to talk about, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you. We're going to talk about dedicated servers, lag, and dirty, filthy cheaters that we all hate. So let's start with the dirty, filthy cheaters that we all hate. Now, I'm sure you, as well as myself, have all encountered some ridiculous situations in Iron Banner, aka the thing we're joining right now, where, you know, you get yourself in a situation where you're like, aha, I see this nerd across the map, I know what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna super, and you blade dance your way over there, and you hit him 10 times, and the guy doesn't die! And then, as soon as your blade dance run out, he appears behind you, looking the other way, shoots behind his head, and kills you. And then suddenly he's across the map. Now, I know that it is technically a faux pas, or whatever, at least while I'm streaming, to even talk or suggest that somebody might be lag switching. But the reality of the situation is that it happens more often than you might expect. Simply because kids are kids, they want to win, and it's actually not that expensive to get yourself a lag switch. You can make it yourself for less than $5, and if you really have to buy one, you can get it for less than $20. So what does that mean? It means with very little disposable income, or with some tech that you might just have sitting around your house, you're going to be able to essentially manipulate the game to do whatever the hell you want. Now, that's not fun for anybody, and it's certainly not fun if you're playing against it and you're trying to have a fair match. So I think we all need to go into this next part of the conversation with the assumption that people do cheat, and it is frequent enough that something needs to be done about it, as opposed to nothing being done about it, which of course is not what we want. So basically, right now, the way Destiny works is it's peer-to-peer matchmaking. This game that I'm in right now is being hosted on somebody else's server. It's being hosted on their house, it's victim to their internet. We can't play unless we're with someone else. So right now, if somebody wants to manipulate this connection, it's extremely easy for them to do so. All they have to do is flip a little switch, introduce some lag into the system, and they're popping around the map like nobody's business. So how is this different than a dedicated server? A dedicated server load, okay, is going to make the game much more stable because it's not running on anyone's consoles and it's not dependent on anybody's internet connection other than the server room itself, which of course, if you got a dedicated server room, you're going to have decent connections going in and out, and everybody's happy, hunky-dory, and having a good time. Now, I, for one, am a huge advocate of having dedicated servers for games. It is certainly much more expensive, but in my opinion, for a game like Destiny that obviously desires to be around for a long time, and we have seen inklings with Trials of Osiris and the way that Bungie has been speaking about Destiny, we have seen inklings that they really, really do want to turn this into a game that is going to have a competitive side. These are the folks that made Halo. I mean, you know, Halo. So of course they're going to want to try and introduce a truly competitive element, and I think one of the best ways to do that is dedicated servers. Now, it is not a cheap fix, and it's certainly not inexpensive, which is why a lot of developers don't go that route, because it's just easier to introduce some netcode and be like, oh, well, we all play on each other's consoles. However, that makes everyone very easy to victimize, regardless of what kind of situation that they may be in. Regardless of my home internet, which has taken a massive increase, a large bonus from a little while ago to now, still deal with lag. I've had some of the worst matches of my life in this most frequent and recent Iron Banner, and honestly, it's super frustrating. You know, I'm sitting there streaming, and then all of a sudden some guy is literally, I had this happen yesterday, sitting in the middle of the map, and I can blow supers into this guy, shotgun shit into his face for a solid minute and a half, and nothing happens. Just sitting there. All of this stuff is kind of an example of shoddy code that could really be adjusted. Ouch, my body. I think dedicated servers are a fantastic first step to fixing all these solutions. Another good step is, you know, like we talked about earlier, realizing that people cheat. They cheat. They're gonna cheat. If they can, they will. If there's a way to game the system, there's always going to be some nefarious activity, so it needs to be dealt with. Happily, and this is why I'm glad that I waited to do the video, Bungie announced today that they are going to begin handing out bans for network manipulation. I'm assuming they mean immediately. There was no time frame on it. They said bans are I'm going to read it directly. I'm going to read it directly as soon as I don't have to die. Oh, well, okay, cool, we're dead. Bans for network manipulation are being issued in Crucible. More details tomorrow in the weekly update. Now, usually when Bungie has to deal with a set of situations, you know, we looked a little bit at their view of lag and issues when it came to stabilizing connection to the side of the Trials of Osiris. So we know how they feel about it. No, we know that they have network monitors and things like that around to check everything. I am curious to see what kind of criteria and what sort of things they're looking for to secure a ban for network manipulation. I know that player reports are part of it because they talked about that last time they spoke, reinforcing the importance of player reporting in the game in order for them to evaluate nefarious suspects. But I'm actually really curious to see how long the bans last, if the bans are permanent and forever, or if they're just a week, or 2 weeks, or God knows how long. Basically, it's really interesting, and I think that it's a great first step. I think that the first step towards getting the game cleaned up is admitting and dealing with the fact that people are going to cheat. Which is exactly what Bungie is doing, finally, after almost a year. Which, you know, of course, it takes a little time to assemble an appropriate amount of information to deal with this without, you know, and this is what everyone doesn't want. You don't want to be bopping a bunch of people who haven't done anything wrong. That's everyone's biggest fear whenever things like this happen. Well, what if I just have a bad connection? What if I have trouble connecting to matches all the time? I don't want to get banned for lag switching. If I'm not lag switching, that is a fear, and I definitely understand it. It's a valid fear. No one wants to be able to nobody wants to be banned from a game for cheating when they don't cheat. I think that Bungie has a good idea behind what they're doing. Personally, right now, spitballing, I got no clue. I am definitely not a smart guy when it comes to handling network stuff or figuring out how to determine whether or not someone is actively cheating or just faffing about, having a little runaround, having a little shooty kill time, top of the team with all of the lag and whatnot. But I'm looking forward to seeing their logic and their opinions, and of course, the way they monitor everything inside of the next weekly update. And I hope you're looking forward to it as well. I think it's going to be a really interesting update, and it'll be a good look at how Bungie feels and will deal from now moving forward with people who cheat their game. It's always really exciting to me. I like justice. Justice is great. Seeing people get justice for what they deserve is awesome, and I think every single one of us has had an experience in Crucible or somewhere else where we have gotten our ass absolutely beat in with no help or hope at all to be able to fix the situation. And I hope that going forward we might have a cleaner, more fun experience. And while the lag may still exist inside of the game, and maybe we still need dedicated servers, at least we won't have to worry so much about our fellow Guardians being absolute jackwagons to us, preventing us from being able to enjoy a part of the game that we all love. Thanks for watching today, guys. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget that I love each and every one of you. I think you're super awesome. I'm going to finish up this game of Iron Banner, but I don't really have anything else to talk about. But I'm just going to finish it. I'm going to let you know that I'm not going to, dip out of the game of Iron Banner. Anyway, guys, I love you. You're all super awesome and cool, and I will see you guys next time in Destiny.